Hey guys, what's going on? Okay, I'm going to review the whole Final Countdown tour. I'm just going to try to squeeze all 4 shows into one video just to do something different from what everyone else is doing. And I will plug everyone's video. Everyone has done a single show review of the Final Countdown tour. I will plug your video in the description box. And I thought all 4 of these, or I'm sorry, all 3 of these shows, of the first 3 shows, were pretty much on the same level. And I actually thought all the Bryan Danielson matches from the whole Final Countdown tour were pretty much exactly all on the same level. That's just my opinion, but let's get right down to it. All right, the Dayton show. Eddie Edwards and Brent Albright. It was a little bit sluggish, but as the match went on, it got pretty exciting. You know, there's a lot of anticipation for the finish, and I thought it was pretty good actually. All right, Davey Richards and Claudio Castagnoli was an excellent match. I'd say maybe the best Claudio match in a long time. Probably, I can't even remember. Definitely the best Claudio match that he's had in 2009. And Davey Richards looked great here. The reversals in this match were just insane. This is definitely a match to see. It's definitely 4 stars, at least 4 stars. So check that out. The Briscoes versus the Young Bucks. All right, the problem with this match is this match had just no energy. You know, the Briscoes, for whatever reason, they just don't have the buzz that they used to have in 2007. I guess maybe because a lot of Ring of Honor fans are new and they're not used to seeing them. But, you know, at the same time, there's times out there Mark looks like he's limping. So just got to wait for him to get back, to just get healthy again, you know. But the Young Bucks were pretty good here. I mean, it was a pretty exciting match towards the end. And I definitely think the Young Bucks look more impressive. But this is still a pretty good match. I did enjoy it. Once it got going pretty good. All right, so we get Cabana and Petey Williams challenging Austin Aries and Rhett Titus in a tag team match. This was kind of boring, actually. It wasn't spectacular. This was just really about making Petey Williams look strong for the New York show, I guess. And Aries sold the Canadian Destroyer pretty well. And then Rhett Titus got busted open pretty well. I mean, he was just bleeding like crazy, expecting. But just a decent match here. Once again, Aries got on the... Did he get on the mic here? No, I think that was the Boston show.
But yeah, Aries' character is great. I don't have a problem with him at all being the champion. All right, so the next match we get Bryan Danielson versus Chris Hero. Awesome match. You know, this started off pretty slow actually, and the PWG match that they had was a lot more dramatic. But you know, once this got going, this was just really crisp and really exciting. And this had more intensity than the PWG match, I'd say. And this is just beautiful to watch. And watching this match, you could definitely see the evolution and the improvement of Chris Hero since their first match in 2006. I thought this was epic. You know, Hero did go over here. The fans kind of hated the finish, but you know, it was definitely they definitely did need to put Hero over, and I think that was the right way to do it. And I thought it was a great match. All right, next up we get the Chicago show. Now a lot of people are saying this is the best show of the year so far. Maybe better than End of an Age. I don't know. Maybe I need to watch it again. But there were some matches I had a problem with, but I still thought it was an excellent show. Okay, Petey Williams and Rhett Titus. This was a pretty good opener, actually. The crowd was hot for Petey, so that worked. The Jimmy Rave Necro Butcher Dog Collar match. I hate to say it, but I was not disappointed with it. I really did not expect much from it because the feud has been terrible, in my opinion. Definitely one of the worst dog collar matches Ring of Honor has done. And I just cannot get into it. Maybe because I'm not a fan of Necro. I don't know what it is. Jimmy Rave is okay to me. But, you know, I will give them credit, though. Necro did take a lot of brutal stuff in this match, and they did bust their ass, so I will give it 3 stars. But I don't know. I just couldn't get into it. Like, I was kind of daydreaming throughout it. But I know a lot of you guys are giving it 4 stars. Just don't really agree with it. But, you know, if you enjoyed it, then that's great, though. All right, the Young Bucks versus the Dark City Fight Club. You know, pretty much the same level as their HD Net match. The Young Bucks kind of got a cheap victory. They rolled the Dark City Fight Club up. This definitely sets up a rematch between the 2 teams, but I think these 2 teams make a pretty good combination. Colt Cabana and Claudio Castagnoli was really fun. Claudio was kind of antagonizing, or I'm sorry, Colt was kind of antagonizing Claudio. Claudio busted out the airplane spin again, which was awesome. The crowd really enjoyed this. This is really fun. Claudio actually tried to low blow Colt Cabana, but Colt Cabana had a cup on. So, you know, that they kind of played off of that, and they finished off of that. So the finish is pretty
pretty innovative there. All right, so next we got the American Wolves versus the Briscoes in a Dream Tag Team match. I thought this was awesome. The Briscoes look great. This is the best Briscoes match I've seen since just in a long time, I'd say. You know, Eddie Edwards looked really impressive here. He looked just as impressive as David Richards in this match, which is saying a lot. And Davey looked great here. The DQ finish, it hurt the match a little bit because the crowd was starting to really get into this. But, you know, this is still a very enjoyable match. All right, Austin Aries and Bryan Danielson. Obviously, as you guys know, these two guys have a great history. They've had some excellent matches. To tell you the truth, I think their Survival of the Fittest match is probably their best match ever, but that's not really an official match between them. But, you know, I can't really decide what their best match was. The Test and Limit match, I thought, went a little bit too long, but that was excellent. But it's, you know, this might be their best match ever. I don't know. I thought it was that good. I just thought it was great. You know, just some excellent stuff here. Aries really impressed the crap out of me here, but there was some great stuff. The best spot in this match was the 450 splash, and then Bryan Danielson just countered it into the triangle choke. That must have been really tough to pull off, but they pulled it off, and I thought that was a great spot. There was some great submission wrestling, and Aries busted out a lot of drop kicks right in Danielson's face, and there's some great counters from the cat of mutilation into the last chancery. I just thought it was an excellent match. 4.5 stars to me. I thought it was great. All right, the Final Countdown Tour Boston. I thought this was an excellent show, actually. You know, the show kind of dragged a little bit during some points, but it was still good. The Young Bucks versus Cheech and Cloudy. It was decent. It was pretty much your generic Young Bucks match. Maybe the weakest Young Bucks match I've seen, but you know, it wasn't really supposed to be epic. Sanjay Dutt and Delirious. You know, it was kind of reminiscent of the HD Net match that they had. Just nothing special. Chris Hero, Petey Williams, Claudio, and El Generico. It was a really fun four-corner survival. I definitely checked it out. It was short, but it was really sweet, and it got really exciting towards the end. Eddie Edwards versus Kevin Steen. Here's my problem with this. If you have the biggest match of the year booked the next night, why are you going to book your talent in a hardcore match? I mean, you're just asking for your guys to get injured. You know, that's my problem with that. But the match was still decent, though. I mean, the match was actually pretty good. I actually thought it was better than the dog collar match. And you know, Eddie Edwards got injured from the Benoit spot, the Benoit Jericho ladder match spot, where you know Benoit does the tope and gets smashed right in the face of the chair. They did the exact same spot, and Eddie Edwards just landed really bad on his arm. So, all right, Nigel McGuinness and Roderick Strong. I have to say this is kind of disappointing. It just wasn't. The crowd just really wasn't into it, but it was still decent though. Roderick looked great in this match. Nigel kind of controlled the tempo. Nigel worked kind of as a heel the whole match, but it was still decent. Easily the worst Roderick Nigel match, but still a solid 3.5 stars. And Nigel's post-match speech was really great. I thought Aries and Rhett Titus versus Colt Cabana and Omega. Omega really made this match pretty entertaining, but you know, Aries on the mic before the match, where he insulted Boston for being a B show. That was the highlight of this. But the overall match, it wasn't really anything special, and the finish was really disappointing. All right, Bryan Danielson and Davey Richards, awesome match. They went about maybe 40 minutes. I thought it was great though. It probably wasn't as intense. No, it was, the intensity was there. I just think it wasn't as fast-paced as some people were hoping for. It was a really long match, so you got to cut him some slack there. But Davey was really antagonizing the crowd for like the first 10 minutes, but then it just got awesome. You know, Davey Richards did the tope con hilo, and he went into like the 4th row, and he hit some of the fans on his way out. So that was crazy. The guy just doesn't give a fuck. He'll hit anyone. Bryan Danielson and Davey, the submission wrestling was just really good. The storytelling was great. Danielson went to work on Davey's ankle. So maybe that's why the match wasn't as fast-paced as you would have hoped for. And this guy was just really intense. The intensity was definitely great. It definitely is a match of the year candidate. I'd say it's one of the top 5 matches of the year. So definitely check it out. And I'm not going to spoil the ending because I know a lot of you guys haven't seen it yet. So, but you know, there's a chance that Bryan Danielson might go over here. So check it out. All right. The last show, I didn't see the DVD out. Obviously, it's not out yet, but I will say it's one of the best Ring of Honor shows ever. It's definitely one of the top 5 shows. I thought everything was great. The Claudio Omega match was awesome. The 4 Corner Survival was great. Nigel and Bryan Danielson. You know, I say all the Danielson matches are exactly all on the same level. I probably say 4.5-star match for every Danielson match. That's just me. I thought the ladder war was excellent, especially when you consider the fact that Eddie Edwards went out there and wrestled injured. I thought that was great. And for some of you kids out there that don't have a lot of money because you're not old enough to work or whatever, if you could say to your parents for Christmas, if I could just get one DVD, more so than WrestleMania, more so than anything, just try to get them to pull out the credit card and get them to buy Glory by Honor 8 from ROHWrestling.com, because I'm telling you, it's the best show. I'd say it's probably the best show all year from any company. So try to get them to do that. But that's my review of the Final Countdown Tour. I'm running out of time. All right, take it easy, guys.